All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Monday. Happy Monday to everyone out there. July 29th. We have a 12-game MLB slate to dive into. I believe it's 12 games slate to dive into in today's video. Like we always do, we're going to go through each and every one of these games. I'm going to give you my lean on the side. I'll give you my lean on the total. Talk about any other plays like player props that we like in the game as well. But as always, what I'm actually betting myself, all of my final plays will be in the pinned comment right here on this video. Yesterday, a nice little 4-2 night, all plays, full units there. And what I liked is that, so we were 3-2 with the Dodgers game, TBD, right? It still hadn't finished. They were up 3-2. I believe it was like the 5th or 6th inning. I'm like, oh my God, what a bad spot to be in, because if you'd watched any of that series, the Astros are scoring late like it was nobody's business. So I'm like biting my nails, stressing out over it. And then the Dodgers actually flip the script and they end up being the one that scores late in the game. And they cash a nice little plus 110 cash for us, which guarantees a positive night there. So 4-2 night, we shall take it. And the vibes get even better as the ride of the day comes through from Zach. He said, Aaron Judge, 1 walk. Trust this pick. You won't regret it, and it has good value. Well, you know what? Let's abuse the soundboard today. We cashed that one as well. I believe Judge walked. He got on base a bunch. I believe he might even walked twice there, but the ride of the day cashes from Zach. I don't regret it because that thing cashed, so hopefully you guys jumped on board as well. Shout out to Zach. If you guys don't know what the ride of the day is, all you have to use is that hashtag ride of the day in the comments, and I jump on board with 1 comment and give you a shout out in the next video, win or loss, depending on, if your play wins or loses. If you win, we continue to ride with your pick, so looking forward to seeing what Zach throws out there today. We're going to jump on board and ride him till the cows come home. Hopefully we all take that the right way. But get those hashtag ride of the days in the comments as well, because you never know when you need to jump ship. All right, let's go ahead and jump into today's slate. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button and hitting that subscribe button. I know I say it in every video, but seriously, it is super, super quick for you guys to do, but goes a long way for the channel. We are grinding our asses over here with everything that we got going. So, you know what? If you appreciate that, if you want us to grind even harder, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I don't want to jinx it. I think we're going to hit 81,000 subscribers today. So, holy crap. Thank you guys so damn much. But let's jump into game 1 here. It's kind of an interesting one. Now, this is a doubleheader, so I'm not like salivating at the mouth trying to bet either one of these games. But we do have a new pitcher on the mound for Baltimore, Zach Eflin, former Tampa Bay Ray, now getting the start for Baltimore as they trade for him, I believe, Friday, right? So this is his opener going up against Yariel, or at least projected Yariel Rodriguez. Keep an eye on the starting pitchers here. I don't think Eflin's going to move, but obviously it's a doubleheader. Anything can kind of happen, right? But overall, I don't necessarily know where I want to go with this one. Maybe Baltimore first 5 run line. I do think that they are the play here. They finally got their win yesterday against San Diego, but I don't also want to get in the trap of thinking when Baltimore gets a win, all of a sudden, they're back. You know what I mean? Like, they did that against Miami where they lose the first 2, then they win, and then I was pretty high on them going into the San Diego series. They lose that series as well, so I don't want to get too high on a falling Baltimore right now, especially with a new pitcher on the mound, especially when they are minus 198 in terms of price. So I'll lean Baltimore first 5 run line to probably try and get some good odds, but I'll tell you, I'm shaking in my boots a little bit about the thought of actually going in there and placing it. In terms of the total, I'll lean towards the under. Baltimore's offense obviously has been a little, I don't even want to say that they've been shaky, because even when they're losing games, they're scoring runs, but just not as consistent as I'd like. They look good in the San Diego series, but I'm not forgetting the Miami series. And then you turn to Toronto, and it's like they just scored 6, 7, and 7 runs and swept the Texas Rangers. They have to have some regression at some point, right? So I'm going to lean slightly towards the under. And then we have Baltimore taking on Toronto in game number 2. I think we're still waiting on some odds and a total here. Guys, I'll tell you this, and I'll say it really quickly. I'm sure some of you guys have heard me say it before, because we say it all the time with doubleheaders. Doubleheaders, in my opinion, are never really the most, they're not the best place to place your money in baseball, just because doubleheaders can get so weird. And what other sport are they doing that in? You know what I mean? 2 strategies is either to take the favorite in game 1 and act like that's the only game on the board. They don't have to play 2. That's one strategy that I, tend to roll with if I'm betting doubleheaders. And then secondarily, it is to bet the underdog twice, because if they can even just win once, then you make a little bit of profit, or at least would break even. Toronto today, I mean, they're huge underdogs in game number 1. Maybe that's a strategy you could roll out, but again, I don't think I'm touching these just because of the doubleheader. And that's not a unique idea to me. I'm sure a lot of people you listen to or watch don't like doubleheaders because, baseball's a long sport, and all of a sudden you have to run it back and play a couple hours later. It's just a weird spot. So yeah, hate to go on that little rant, but just wanted to let you know I have 2 strategies when it comes to betting doubleheaders. Treat game 1 like there's no game 2, or bet the underdog blindly in both of them, hoping that, it's tough to beat a team twice and they pull off one. All right, Detroit is taking on Cleveland. Jack Flaherty on the bump here. Jack Flaherty has been looking pretty damn good. He is the probable pitcher. Again, make sure you're checking. We don't have many confirmed pitchers yet at the time of us recording here, but he should be going up against Tanner Bybee. Detroit they're actually listed as plus money underdogs here, and I kind of saw that and I was like, this might be another spot. You remember last week we did pretty much the same thing. I don't know if it was with Jack Flaherty, but kind of did the same thing. And I said, you know what, Detroit for that money seems to be the play. They're coming off of a win yesterday. Coming off a win against Cleveland last series, which was just about a week ago. And I think they lost that series. They might have split it. It was either, I know they lost 2 of the last 3, but they might have gone 2-2, but they came off a win in the last one. So we like to see that. Maybe there's some momentum there behind them. But I like Detroit, who I believe right now has the slightly better bats. Cleveland scored 4 runs yesterday against the Phillies. That was the most that they'd scored in over a week. And their highest total in the last 10 games here is 5 runs, actually 7 runs. It was their 10th most recent game. So they're not scoring like they were even, a month ago or so. But Detroit's bats have actually started to heat up a little bit. They scored I don't think they had a big night yesterday, but I don't know, like 2 runs or something. But prior to, they've been scoring some decent runs. And with Jack Flaherty on the mound, who at home looks pretty good. He's got a 1.08 whip, 3.4 FIP, which you're like, it's not that great, right? But an expected FIP of 251, which is great to see. And also, he's going to throw a lot of fastballs and a lot of sliders. His 2 main pitches, 2 pitches that Cleveland struggles with. So all that to say, I do like the idea of taking a chance for plus money here on the Detroit Tigers. I also don't mind just taking a peek at them on the first 5 money line. Guardians have a better bullpen than Tigers. I don't think that's much of a hidden gem there. So maybe first 5 is the way the play is. And then I would also consider the Nerfy. I don't mind even the full game under, but 7 just seems a little bit too low. Like 4-3 could win this game, and you're going to tell me that that's pushing. You know what I mean? So I don't think I touch the total, but I could see myself potentially rolling with either the Nerfy or the first 5 under if we can get it at a good number and good price. And then one player prop to consider. Now, I'd want to try and snag this at a really good price tag, which FanDuel is the only place that I think has it right now at plus 118, is Jack Flaherty over 5.5 strikeouts. MGM has him at plus money to a plus 110, but then DraftKings and Caesars in the minus 105 and minus 104. So if you can get this at, near plus 120 like FanDuel has it, I think that Jack Flaherty over 5.5 strikeouts could be a look. Again, he just pitched against this team about a week ago. He had 6 strikeouts there through 6 innings. And if he has a good night, I could see him kind of getting it going because he has a slider that is really, really good, right? And this Cleveland team strikes out plenty against sliders. All but 3 guys listed in their starting lineup, their strikeout rate goes way up when against a slider. And then he turns to the curve as pitch number 3. All but 2 guys, their strikeout rate rises. So I do think that could be a good play as long as you can get it at that price tag. Plus 110 is as low as I would go. Within that, I don't know if it's worth that, because I could see him having obviously like a 5 strikeout game, pitching really well, and then it's like, damn, he had 5 strikeouts and we're not even going to get paid for it. But I don't mind over 5.5. There's only been 3 times this entire season that he hasn't cashed that, and he's done it 2 times, hasn't done it 2 times on the road. So yeah, keep that in mind. If you can get it at a good price, I don't think that that's a bad flyer. All right, we got the Phillies taking on the Yankees. This should be a very fun, cool series, between these 2 really good teams. One thing I will say is that I think the Yankees, after that series against the Red Sox, may be back. Like, their offense may be totally back. 7-11. Now, that was in extra innings, but still, 7-11. I think they had, 8 heading into extra innings. So, 7-11 and 8 runs scored in that series. Say what you want. Maybe it's because they're fired up to play the rival and all that. But the Phillies, they should be coming in just as fired up because this is a very good ball club, obviously. And the Phillies just lost 2 of 3 against Cleveland. So, it might be a time to get them. I think for plus 120, I'll sound the psycho alert alarm, but for plus 120, I think it's a Yankees lean for me today. They're going up against a righty in Zach Wheeler, who he's obviously a dominant pitcher, but as long as it's not a lefty, the Yankees look even better. You know what I mean? Top 10 in virtually every offensive category and top 5 in most of the power categories as well against righties in the last 30 days. Now, Luis Gil is on the mound for the Yankees here, again, going up against Zach Wheeler. Obviously, they're going to have a pitching advantage on the Philadelphia side of things, but in terms of where this Phillies offense is against Gil, like, I don't know if I'm all that afraid of it. Last 30 days, 18th in average, 20th in WRC+, striking out the 6th most, on base 27th, OPS 20th, ISO 12th, so that's the best one there, and then slugging 16th, so they're really just middle of the pack when, like I said, the Yankees, their offense should be way better. 7th in average, 3rd in WRC+, 3rd fewest strikeout, 3rd most walks, 4th in on-base, 3rd in OPS, 4th in ISO, 3rd in slugging. Like, that's some serious advantage, to the Yankees for batting. So I think that as long as Luis Gil has like a decent game here, the Yankees should be able to score some runs. So, like I said, give me the Yanks here on the money line for plus 120. I think it's crazy. I could also see myself, agreeing with someone if they made a good argument against the Yankees for the Phillies. But right now, for that price tag, I have to fade a team that's made us so much money this year in the Phillies. Give me the Yankees on the money line. In terms of the total, 8.5, I can't bet the Yankees money line without thinking they're going to score a bunch of runs again. So I'm going to lean towards the over 8.5 here in this spot as well. And in terms of player prop, now that Zach threw that and called attention to that one, I don't mind Aaron Judge over 0.5 walks. Like, baseball teams that are smart right now are pitching very carefully to Judge, and they're not giving him much he can hit, which leads to walks. So I think that we can give Zach another shout out there for the ride of the day yesterday, because that is a good spot. You can get it at minus 110 again this morning. Like, Aaron Judge over 0.5 walks until he cools down, which doesn't seem like it will. Seems like it could be a good spot here for us to keep an eye on that one every game. So yeah, shout out to Zach. That's a player prop that we're considering. All right, real quick, guys, if you do want to support the show and support the channel and everything we're doing here, consider going over to fademe.store and picking up some of our merch. We just launched the Burium Guppies tee here. You can see we have the Guppies Grave, some lightning coming out for some cool effects. Also, our new bestseller, It's a Good Day for a Parlay, just a nice, clean black, green, and white shirt. We also have it in white with black and green as the secondary colors. But, guys, go ahead and check it out. This is some serious quality stuff. I have the They Don't Boo Nobody's tee on right now in white. This is literally what I'm wearing right now, only in the white color, but we put time and effort into each one of these that we launch. It's not just another one of those brands that takes a crappy t-shirt, slaps a logo on it, and then I say, hey, go buy it so I can make a quick bag. No, our margins aren't even that great on this one. So if you do want to support us and pick up some great merch at the same time, head over to fademe.store. I'll put a link in the pinned comment. You buy one piece, I swear you will see that this is legitimate clothing, not just some, like, I guess you could say creator merch or something like that. So go ahead and check it out if you want to support me and support all the other guys on the channel here. That is fademe.store. Link will be in the pinned comment and in the description. All right, we got the Red Sox taking on the Mariners. I am sure the Red Sox are happy to get out of that Yankees series, though it was close, and obviously both games, games 1 and 2 were very close, and then they get rocked in game number 3. That had to be a grueling series. Seattle's coming off a sweep of the White Sox. They're looking to sweep multiple Sox in a row. There we go. Let's see if I got the soundboard drop for this one. Let's see. Nice. But nonetheless, we have Nick Pivetta on the mound here going up against Logan Gilbert. Seattle has the better pitcher. Pivetta's had a good year, but Seattle definitely has the better pitcher, the better bullpen, but the Red Sox offense is just 10 times better. So I still think that I look at the Red Sox here. In fact, inside minus 130 against a team that can't bat, and the Red Sox bat righties really well. Seems like it's a good spot. I also like the Nerfy in this spot, but man, oh man, guys, why am I like addicted to Seattle Nerfies? You know what I mean? Because they are such a bad offense and have such good pitchers. I think that's why, because you already seemingly have like an advantage. You know what I mean? They have a pitcher that can go out and shut down pretty much any lineup, 1 through, hell, you could say like 1 through 5 in their rotation, right? And then their offense, it doesn't matter if I'm pitching against them. Pretty damn bad offense, so maybe that's why I like the Nerfy so much. But Pivetta and Gilbert should be able to go out there and get through 1 inning of play here. So that's going to be a play as well. In terms of the total, I like the under. I think both these pitchers could have the upper hand, but the Red Sox, I see this like a 5-3 win, 5-3 more at max, so a 5-4 at max. So obviously that would kind of put us over. I'm still going to lean towards the under because the Red Sox, even if they go out there and score a bunch of runs, I really don't know if Seattle's going to score a lot. Like this is an offense that clearly struggles. Now I would say they did go up against the White Sox and they looked like they were just like the the runs leaders in the MLB, but that's the White Sox, right? They also look like they're a very good first inning team, the White Sox. So I'm not trying to give them a flag or a trophy yet for being a good offense. I think this one is a one-sided affair, and the Red Sox hopefully don't put up too many runs because they're going up against Logan Gilbert. So maybe like again 5-2, 5-3, 5-4 at worst game. Keeps us right around that number. Obviously, the 5-4 would go over, though. But I like the nerfing the Red Sox more than anything. All right, we got Cincinnati taking on Chicago. Cincinnati coming off of losing the series against Tampa Bay. They win game number 1, then lose 2 and 3. Chicago coming off of winning 2 straight and 2 of 3 against Kansas City. We had that game pegged pretty well yesterday. We had Kansas City first 5 run line. That cashes, and then they lose the game 7-3. So I like that we took the first 5 there. In this spot, you have Carson Spears on the mound for Cincinnati going up against Jameson Taillon. Neither pitcher is anything all that impressive. The one thing that kind of got me looking at Cincinnati here is that Taillon throws a hell of a lot of fastballs. Cincinnati right now, last 30 days, #1 team in terms of runs above average when it comes to hitting the fastball. So I look at that and I say, you know what? Maybe there's a decent spot here for Cincinnati. -106 odds. It's pretty much a pick 'em. It's -105 on some books for the Cubs, and -106 on some books for the Reds. So I think I lean towards the Reds in this spot. Not a huge Jameson Taillon fan. I'll tell you, this isn't my favorite spot of the day overall, so I probably end up, just leaving this as a lean. I could potentially get behind an over if it was at 8.5. So the fact that we're seeing 9, and I've even seen some 9.5s on the board, I don't necessarily love that, but I'd still lean towards the over. I wouldn't trust Taillon or Spears, either one of these guys, to go out there and shut down any offense. Spears on the season 3.83 ERA, last 5 starts 3 flat ERA, so nothing all that great. You have Taillon, who actually has some decent numbers, but still just doesn't seem to be the guy to make the big out or anything like that. So I would look at an over here. And a quick player prop that I'm considering, but we'd have to get it at the price that we can get right now. It's -140 on Caesars. It's -150 and beyond everywhere else, but it's going to be Jonathan India under 1.5 bases. His batting average against right-handed pitchers drops about 10 points. So does his ISO. Extra base hits percentage does go up a decent amount. The one thing I'd be concerned with is the 2 main pitches from Taillon, fastball and cutter. He actually hits very well, so that could keep it off the board. But that was a player prop that we kind of got a lead on. Just don't know if we're going to make it there in terms of a final play. Mets taking on, voice just kind of gave out there. Mets taking on the Twins here. Mets coming off of splitting a series against Atlanta. The Twins coming off of winning a series against Detroit. This is one of those games that I'm just being honest, just being transparent. I can see an argument being made for both of these teams. You have Simeon Woods Richardson on the mound for Minnesota. Good season for him so far. 3.27 ERA, 1.11 WHIP, a FIP of 3.5, average against 224. All those numbers inflate just a little bit when he is on the road. Going up against Jose Quintana, who honestly is better at home, but he's had some up and down spots so far this season, but he's been pitching well as of late. Just one start to kind of throw out, and that was, I want to say they were at home against Colorado, so it wasn't Colorado affecting it, but he still has a 1.6 ERA in his last 5 starts here, and one of those starts is a 5 2/3, 5 earned run, 6 hit game. You know what I mean? So even with a bad start in there, still looking good, which I would say the Mets then, if that's the case, have a little bit of at least pitching. I guess the pitching would be equal, okay? But I like the way Quintana's been pitching lately because obviously Woods Richardson's having a better season, that type of thing. In terms of the offense, I do think the Mets have a little bit of an advantage here, but they didn't go out there and score a bunch of runs against Atlanta. They had one high-scoring game. That being said, the Twins only had, I guess they had 2, actually. I would consider high-scoring 5 and beyond, so 2 of the 3. So the Mets should have an offensive advantage, but not in terms of recency. So all that said, I think I'll just trust the home team here, though I'm usually thinking if this is a 50-50 spot, take the plus money. The Twins are only plus 100 right now. So if they were like plus 110 or something like that, then yeah, I think that I would actually lean Twins. That's why I'm saying, in all transparency, like there is a lane to make an argument for both of these teams. So if you're on the Twins and you like the plus money and you like SWR, Simeon Woods Richardson, I feel like people don't call him that enough, but that's a kind of cool nickname. I do think that, you could make an argument that the Twins, have the better bullpen or Woods Richardson maybe more reliable, or their offense actually is very good, that type of thing. So I don't hate it. I will say Twins offense against lefties and righties, a little bit of difference there in what's his name? Quintana is a lefty, so also something for you guys to consider. But overall, give me the Mets in this spot. In terms of the total, I almost want to say one of these pitchers goes out there and kind of shoves. So I'm going to lean towards the under. I clearly hope it's Quintana, I guess, if we want to correlate or bet both these. But if I were to put it in a vacuum and you give me the Men in Black like thing that makes me forget, and I say, you know, I don't know who I picked to win the game, I would say either one of these pitchers could have a really good game and give me the under. You know, you put it in a vacuum like that. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm a lunatic. All right, St. Louis taking on Texas here. These odds, a little shocking to me. You have Payente on the mound for St. Louis going up against Nate Eovaldi, and maybe it's because Nathan Eovaldi has definitely struggled on the road this season, but I'd still say the Texas Rangers should have a massive pitching advantage, right? His last start, he looked pretty good as well against the White Sox. I believe he hasn't had his last away start was against Houston, and he looked pretty good as well, so Eovaldi could be building on, you know, something here on the road, I guess. Maybe I'm just trying to make a case for it. But if you're going to give me Eovaldi versus Payente at minus 115 odds, I think I'm going to take that. Now, I probably would roll with the first five just due to the fact that, you know, we have a spot in which the bullpen comes in and Texas's bullpen can do anything. But to me, it's like you're getting a really good pitcher at this price. I'll take first five money line there overall. Now, I know the chirps in the comments are going to be this Rangers team stinks on the road, right? In fact, this season, I think I have it up somewhere, they are 22-31 on the road this season. That stinks. But Nathan Eovaldi, I just feel like he should be able to go out there and at least control this St. Louis offense, who St. Louis does have an underrated offense. I'd give them that, but like they're not this crazy good offense. You know what I mean? Like they're average to just above average in terms of a lot of categories over the last 30 days. So yeah, give me Nate Eovaldi and the Rangers first five money line. In terms of a total here, I think I'd lean on Cardinals team total under. If we can get that at, I'm not even sure. In fact, we could probably look that up pretty quickly, right? Let's see. Cardinals team total under. We're going to be looking at for odds. Come on, get there. We're going to be looking at, you can get under, under 4.5 right now for minus 140 on MGM. I don't know. Am I putting my eggs too much in Evaldi's basket? Is he taking my eggs? I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, I like the team total under there. Maybe I like the full game under as well. That way, you know, hell, Payente can go out there and throw as good of a game as he wants. All right, White Sox taking on the Kansas City Royals here. You got Flexen on the mound for the White Sox going up against Alec Marsh for Kansas City. There's really no two ways around this one. I think this is a Kansas City spot, especially after what you consider them hopefully being fired up after losing 4 of their last 5. They just swept this White Sox team a couple weeks back, so maybe, or almost like a week ago actually, so maybe that, you know, gets the White Sox fired up, but I'm not willing to say, hey, this White Sox team turns into, you know, a good offense or even Flexen has a good game because they're fired up. This is probably Royals all day long. The problem being, and we could see it in the odds, is that you're going to have to pay minus 160 and beyond if you like the Royals that much. So probably staying off of this one, but I could be convinced of an over. I don't see how Flexen really holds down this Royals offense. Number 3 in batting average over the last 30 days against right-handed pitchers. But, you know, if I probably had to actually put some money on this, it would end up being Royals team total over because I don't want to take the over and then hope that the White Sox score runs as well. You know what I mean? So this probably ends up being a team total over. And if I were to do the team total over, there's no need to end up, you know, betting Royals money line, right? Because you have everything you need there. You know, they score a bunch of runs, you could still cash it. In terms of a player prop, one that I'm strongly considering is going to be Andrew Vaughn, White Sox batter here, under 1.5 bases, going up against right-handed pitcher Ed Marsh, right? Batting average drops to 218 from 234. Batting average of balls in play drops to 268. ISO drops 12 points. Extra base hit percent drops as well. Could be a decent spot for a player prop there. And next up, we have Milwaukee taking on the Atlanta Braves here. Grant Holmes on the mound for Atlanta. I think he's pitched out of the 10 bullpen appearances this season. He's got a 2.7 ERA. Decent numbers, not necessarily on the road, though, and obviously Atlanta's offense has struggled, but you kind of look at what they did in that last series where they win, 2 of 4 against the Mets, but they go 4-4 and then 9 yesterday in terms of, runs scored, so maybe they're starting to piece it together. Colin Rea, though, really good at home. At home this season, 1.03 whip with an average against of 214, so obviously you got to give him a little bit of credit. I think the way that I look at this is taking the, a shot at the under here. Now, am I trusting Holmes? Not necessarily, but this is a really good Atlanta bullpen, and same thing with the Brewers. So even if Holmes can kind of do his thing and give you a little bit, I like the under in this spot. I also don't mind a peek at the Nerfy. Neither one of these offenses has been, compared to this, I would say it, compared to what they should be, we'd all be lying to ourselves if we said Atlanta looked good or the Brewers look good. Both these offenses, obviously Atlanta has a lot of injuries they're dealing with. Milwaukee was one of the best offenses, toward 2 months ago. Atlanta should be a better offense than they are, so I don't mind, these pitchers in the bullpens making it tough for them to score. And then I don't mind the Nerfy, Grant Holmes first start. Hopefully he doesn't get too shaken. And then Colin Rea at home, I think, should be a good matchup here to stop Atlanta. So don't mind a potential look at the Nerfy here either. I would say that, trusting a bullpen pitcher making his season starting debut gets me shaking in my boots a little bit, okay? But to me, for -110, decent Nerfy odds, it could be a play. All right, we got Houston taking on Pittsburgh. You're probably looking at, obviously, that line at +120 and beyond, saying, what the hell, Houston is that? Well, you know what? That just means that it's Paul Skeens' day. Obviously, he's an absolute stud, and I do think that he has a decent game here today. Like, I don't think it's worth betting. Like, I felt like last week, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, last week seemed like it was the day, or last start for him, right, was the day that people were going to be like, all right, let's fade Skeens today. Like, he's not going to have, and then he went out there and pitched like 8 2/3. Like, Paul Skeens is obviously legit. He should be able to keep this Houston Astros lineup down. But this Astros lineup for +124, is it similar to how I looked at the Dodgers yesterday? I said, for plus money, you're getting one of the best lineups in basketball and baseball. I think it could be worth it. So I'm actually going to lean towards Houston here for +124. Do I make that a final play? Well, I'll tell you, Paul Skeens is definitely making it tough for me to want to roll with that. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like, I really don't want to sit here and ignore the fact that I think Houston's a really good offense. Yesterday, they had a little bit of a down game. Prior to that, they scored 7, 5, 8 runs in the last 3. So give me them for plus money. Don't know if we end up betting it, though, just because Paul Skeens is on the bump. So maybe I'm the crazy one. I could see someone wanting to rock with Skeens. In terms of the total, I'll still lean towards the under. Again, give me the Men in Black thing. Put it in a vacuum. In this case, I'm not backing Houston's offense. I think that Skeens should be able to go out there and pitch well to some degree. But the Astros, again, if the Astros can get 4, like, are the Pirates guaranteed to go out there and get 5? No. Like, they've been scoring a lot of runs, but at some point they got to come back down. So clearly, I'm not the most confident guy in the world in this pick, but Astros in the under for me, which seems like those don't correlate, but I think they might. And last but not least, we're looking at Arizona taking on Washington here. Jordan Montgomery on the mound. Obviously, he's had kind of a rough season and definitely rough at home as well. That said, he's really good against lefties. The problem is I think he's only going to get 3, maybe he might get 4 lefties in today's lineup. You have Abrams, you have Ruiz and Vargas here, so they should be batting as righties. Yeah, no, he's probably only going to get 2 righties in this lineup, Wood and Abrams. So the lefty bat that he's really good against, right? He's not even going to get a chance to really go out there and see many of those guys. So this is probably a spot in which, we can fade the Diamondbacks just for the money we're getting. Like, if this was flipped to the side of, Washington was only like +100 or something, I don't think I'd do that. But Washington for +140 is a horse of a different color. You know what I mean? So I do think that could be a play, but maybe like a half unit, quarter unit type of a play overall, because I don't necessarily want to get too down the rabbit hole of trusting Washington overall, who, yes, they've been profitable and they've made, plenty of money for people at times this season, but let's not forget that, Mitchell Parker's on the mound. We've seen him struggle, and then Washington against lefties isn't all that great, and Arizona's offense is looking pretty good. You know what I mean? So there's some serious things to consider here before you just say, hey, Washington +140, but for that price and Jordan Montgomery on the mound, I think that there could be a little bit of value in considering it at least. In terms of the total, I'll lean towards the over. One of these pitchers probably ends up getting got today. Let's just hope that it's Montgomery, because that would correlate to our Washington play here overall. But guys, it's going to wrap it up for today's show. If you made it this far into the video and you made it to the end, go ahead and comment 28. Let me know that you're not a guppy and you're a real one. Appreciate all the support as of late. I know I keep going on rants and whatnot in the middle of the videos, but I'll say this. We get a lot of feedback and people say, you should do this or this is stupid about what you're doing. I'm just going to keep doing me because it's worked for years now, and I think that we're in a good place on the channel. So unless it's positive, criticism and all that and constructive, then yeah, I listen to that. But some of the dummies out there being like, your show would be so much better if you didn't do this. That's stupid. Or if you didn't go on rants or you just got to the picks instead of, rambling. It's like, well, you know what? I probably could take that advice, but unfortunately, don't think I'm going to. But guys, I'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.